Hey, 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 welcome back. Welcome back to the Virgo channel. I figured I'd jump on and do a live. I know I haven't done one in forever. So, usually I don't like to do lives, but I know I have to be more interactive. So, welcome to the Virgo channel. My name is Laura. And if you're new to the channel, I'm going to do a general message for Virgo. Know that energy is fluid, roles could be reversed. Always interpret the message as the best resonates. Also, know on this channel, I like to dive deep within the readings. So, do look at everything, but we take time to look at the spiritual blocks, the shadows, and see how they play it as karmic themes. This will allow you to understand why your person's doing what they're doing, why you're attracting who you're attracting, how you can actually shape shift the energy, or how you need to shape shift the energy, and really inevitably to help you heal. A lot of times when we're in relationships with people that are karmic and we don't realize it. So, you know, like maybe 1 out of 10 people are a soulmate that really comes into your life that teaches you something. It's like sometimes we try and make the relationship work, sometimes we don't. They're the relationships that we feel like have a hold on us. And so they always represent something, but a lot of times they don't. They keep us in a place of cognitive dissonance, which is, I want this, but I don't. Because this person has so many things that they do that just are not in alignment who I am anymore. There's a lot of times when we're not even aware of it. And that could be just awakening to wanting to be treated better, hopefully, if that's, again, wherever you are on your healing journey. Like your healing journey never ends. So the soul mates that come into your life, the ones that really impact your life, they stay in your life for a long time. They don't stay in your life for like a year. They actually stay in your life for many years because they're coming in to teach a lesson. And that lesson really isn't something that we get over time. It's something that we see over time. We don't realize how unconscious we are for most of the day. We're all so overly stimulated through the experiences that we went through, the experiences that we might go through. It's very hard to stay present in the moment, in the now. But when you have trauma, it makes it extra hard. And especially if you've gone through relationship issues where there's been trauma. So this channel, it has a therapy style to it, just so that I think that you guys would figure it out by now, that it was not just going to be a yes or no answer. Because like I said, a lot of times it's like we know that we're connected to a karmic because the person doesn't make us feel good, because the person like has like a weird hold on us where it's again held together, but it's like more of a dominance type of energy, where it's not a comfortable type of energy. So again, integrating the spiritual lesson is understanding why that person came into your life and what you need to do with that energy so that you can either shape shift the energy to get what you want. And yes, that does happen sometimes, maybe 1/3 of the time. And then other times it's just to impact that person's life. Like I said, everybody's not going to be a soulmate or a twin flame, but karmic mates bring something to the table. And when you learn why they're coming into your life, you're able to see things from a different perception, which is very healing for you. It takes your power back, because a lot of times then what happens is we go into the next relationship and now we have fear from that previous relationship. Now we don't trust ourselves. But when you can psychologically understand why everything's playing out, well, again, it gives you the power back. And then you can actually see where you're like, you're dealing with a mask. I can shape shift this energy, and you really can. But what the bigger lesson is that, hey, that's going on inside of you. That's something that needs healing inside of you. And in order to transcend and even become more abundant, you'd have to heal it and transmute it. So the word of the video is victim, victim. I feel like you're connected to someone that's in a like, poor me, poor me. And I feel like either they have kids and they're trying to get a divorce, or there's like something has a hold on them, like they're not in charge of their own life. So they're a very weak person and they're codependent. There's someone that it's not that they don't have feelings for you, Virgo. Of course they have feelings for you. There's an ESP connection through the heart and mind. It's spiritual, but this person's not spiritually evolved. They're coming from a place of victim. That's the word of the video. By the way, you'd have to put that word in the video in order to, enter into winning free reading with me. You also have to like the video and subscribe to the channel. I tried to do that like the fast infomercial commercials. They do it fast. Well, you got the drift. Anyway, so they come from this energy. So it's almost like, there's an energy, like I feel like you grew up in that type of environment where it's like, why, like somebody always acts like they don't have control over their life. Like they can't get out of their own way. This is the energy. And that is this. So this person's not spiritually mature. I know that they didn't show you that. They showed you a different version of themselves, a version that they wanted you to perceive. But that's really not who they are. And that's the irony. If you really knew who they were, you wouldn't even like this person. And this is what they know. But there's a past life karmic connection. And there's love. I recognize love. I see love. I feel love. Why does this person have a hold on me then? It's again because there is unconditional love, but you have shadows, and this person is drawing out those shadows, and they've been brought over from a past life. So there's the bond is really love. That's such a deep and passionate love, almost a crazy type of love, because there's a lot of fear behind it. There's a lot of, codependency. So this person, I felt like it expected you to act a certain way. But again, they focus on the material things. So they're acting like a victim, like possibly because, like I said, they're trying to get a divorce or they have children. There's somebody has a hold on them, but really they don't. The issue is they don't want to let go of their money. They don't want to let go of, thank you. They don't want to let go of like the stability of who everybody perceives that I am. Because this is like people think that I'm money, but we're not our money. And if we live like a life where we hide behind our money, what happens is that we're not really being fulfilled. So we try to get that fulfillment from outside of ourselves, where I feel like that's what this person was doing. It's like, it didn't mean that they didn't come across you and have all of a sudden have feelings for you. How do you think the universe heals? The universe brings us who we need, but that's to create awareness. It doesn't necessarily mean that we need to do anything with that energy. Where this person, again, it was there, just operated from a lower consciousness, which is all about me. I'm not concerned about you. I shut my heart down a long time ago. It's like, because that's the way that I learned to navigate. So I have this false persona, but that's not really who they are. They're weak. They're weak inside. And so again, they know. So they didn't give you anything. They breadcrumbed. Again, trying to create the illusion of some sort of importance where it's like you knew the difference. This person is used to not dealing with people that know the difference. So I don't know why I want to pull from my deck, but it is. So I feel like, and there's a sense that this person, I feel like, has tried to like reach out to you or do a little thing. And it could be something as simple as get a simple like on Facebook. I mean, it could be something as so minuscule, but they feel like it's so much because their heart is shut down. And the thing is, they're trying to read you, trying to be strategic. And it's like, and you're dealing with everything with like diplomacy, which is like whatever it is, I forgive you. Whatever it is, I forgive you. This person isn't used to that. They like to create drama. They like to create the fire, like that's the passion. It's the false, it's the ego, that I'm so in charge, that I'm so like I'm the one that's desirable. It's like because this person doesn't feel that way. And the thing is they can't read you because you're not one way or the other about it. And so you've kept this person's attention. And it's like because it's like almost like I try to do something to make you move and you don't do anything. You're not affected. You're not affected. And that's the issue. Hey, Whitney and Mrs. G and everybody else in the house. Don't want to seem like I'm ignoring, but I get into the groove. So don't never think I'm ignoring. I'll always answer questions after the reading. It's just I get into the realm of channeling and you know how it goes. So anyway, so it's making this person feel a little bit again aggressive. And then they have a lot of imbalances around who they are as well as the relationship. Because again, they're never coming from their true self. The true self is the higher self. This is the ego part of self, which is more about dominance, control. There is passion, but that passion that's on a spiritual level is deep, it's intimate, and it's emotional, which is terrifying to this person. So again, they go back to their deluded thinking of looking for a problem, and we see what we look for. So again, I don't believe that they ever saw anything, but I do believe that they have people that are surrounding them that are telling them that they're seeing their delusions, meaning like, oh, this person is going to hate you, like because you're such a loser, like there's a lot of anger and resentment, and it's done like very passive aggressively. So this could be that there's a mother, a father, it could be a lover, it could be a friend, it could be, it's again someone this person is very influential. And that's because they're not coming from a true sense of self. Love brings us back to our true sense of self. And everything happens on the spiritual level long before it happens on the physical level, which is why I like to go deep into it, because it's like you'll also begin to understand why you attract that same type of energy. It's like, who cares? Like, it's like because you don't want to keep attracting the same type of energy. Without integrating the spiritual lesson, you can't transmute that negative energy. And then you're like, well, it's always the same. It's always the same thing. It's like you feel like you would be in a karmic loop, which is this is the same exact experience, just with somebody else. So then we begin to get on guard, come more from a survival mechanism, which is how you met this person. Yes, they look normal and they said the words that they were supposed to say, but anyone can emulate anything. So if anything, this person thought you were naive, because here you come along and you're not looking for anything. You're like, it's not like coming along just being like, yeah, this is like regular day. Oh, I actually have genuine feelings for you. And this person isn't used to that. It's like, what do you want from me? You want something from me. But that's, again, from their limited perception of who they perceive that they were. Not because of you, but because, again, of keeping themselves surrounded by certain people. And those people unconsciously, consciously, I should say, making sure that this person doesn't talk to anyone else, doesn't keeps the environment. Our environment creates our reality, because, you become like, you form your habits and behaviorisms based on what you're perceiving. So it's like a gaslight 24/7 and it's because this person doesn't have a strong sense of self. It's like, it doesn't mean that they don't have feelings. This is a spiritual issue. So you're not going to see like good things that this person did, but you're going to also see obviously things that you'd be very surprised of like, this person actually really feels that way about me. Like, it's like, I don't really believe it because it wouldn't look like that fucking that. And Spirit says, well, if they have a psychological reversal, it would. They get in their own way. They self sabotage themselves because of the shadows that they haven't integrated yet. So to understand is not just to say, oh, well, then I can forgive you because it wasn't really, it's like a disease. It's a spiritual issue. It's a spiritual disease when a person like feels like they're a victim and begins to live from that. They have to create the persona then to other people that they are not that victim because the spirit doesn't feel well. So what you'd see here is like addictive behavior, avoidant behavior, being around this person would be again make you feel really tired. This person doesn't have a lot of energy, they may feel like, or if they have a lot of energy, it's because they need to do outside things to give them energy. Like they're always looking for that dopamine hit, and that's to like it could be chasing other people. Like again, anything that's going to give them like a thrill is very risky energy, and it's almost like the person can't trust themselves, and that's from a real root chakra imbalance. The root chakra is survival. To grow up in an environment where they just didn't feel safe, and so that's the way that they learned how to deal. But again, those people that live from a survival perspective, they don't have, their life looks like a roller coaster. That's what it is, because we're not meant to be in that energy. We're meant to be more in the second chakra, which is all about our unique individuality, who we perceive that we are, by creating ourselves. Where this person's stuck in their trauma, that's coming from survival. Yes, I realize they look normal. It's like, but you can tell by the energy, even though you're like, well, I like what you look like, and I wish that you were that person, but you're not that person. It's like this person, like I said, has like a double life. It's like they act like the victim, so they act very dutiful to those people that are binding them to this lower consciousness, where you represent unconditional love. There is unconditional love. That's why it's like, why is there a fucking hold on me? What do I have to do with this nonsense? And Spirit says it's about unconditional love. And you're saying, well, what are you trying to show me? And God says, are you giving yourself unconditional love? Why this person doesn't know how to give you unconditional love, because they never felt like they never got it. That's why they're dutiful to certain people, where they overextend, overgive, overdo. So there's actually nothing left for them to actually give to anyone else. And then it's a way that they, compensate for it, kind of take like their anger of what they've put themselves in and not know how to get out of, and put it onto you, because it's again, you represent love, and you represent change, you represent truth, you represent the higher levels of consciousness. Because you'd be like, well, why the fuck does it look like that? It looks like that because you're making that person look at themselves. So it's a normal part of the ego to be like, no, like the Wicked Witch of the East, like I'm melting, no, like it's like no one volunteers. The ego isn't like, oh, okay, that's okay. Like I've been here for about 30 years, 20 years, 50 years, 10 years, and I'm just gonna pack up and leave. It's like fuck I am. It's like I ain't going anywhere. I'm exactly who I think I want to perceive that I am. This is the reality that I want to have. So this person again lives kind of like it was deluded. Like they get deluded, but it's because there's no real sense of self. But that's why. And I know that sounds like, well, then why am I stuck with this person? It's like, because understands, then Spirit says, oh, you see how angry you're getting? That's good. And then you're like, why would that be good? And Spirit says, well, no one should be able to make you that angry. So it means that there is healing to be done. So again, like there's this rebellious energy that, like I said, this person like is just reckless, and they are. It's like because they don't think When you're in survival, you're not thinking. You're thinking only from primal, and that's thinking only from your emotions. And if the person feels so bad about themselves, again, that's internalizing all the time, makes the person then be exhausted and again become want to raise their energy. They do this unconsciously, so they don't know that they have a spiritual issue. They're not aware that they just know that they don't feel well. They just know that they do it. They just know that they sabotage connections. And here it is that you're in their life. It's like, what the hell am I supposed to do with this? Like, you know what I mean? When this person could be the smartest person in the world, but this isn't that. This isn't of the mental mind. This is a spiritual issue. And that's why this person has a hard time making their life work. Look, reckless. And that's what I said. It's like just this reckless energy. Like, I want to be the bad boy, bad girl. You know, and that's the persona. I mean, but this person really isn't that way. And that's the irony. So they're overcompensating for the lack. So that's always why it's like, why do I feel like this energy is a little like weird? The energy is weird because that person is like, again, they perceive themselves through their wounds. And when a person perceives themselves through their wounds, they think that everybody else sees them that way. So they, on a level, don't believe they can be loved. This is why this person has the self-sabotaging energy. Look at that. Reckless and rebellious. It's like, that's his, again, I have a wall, but that wall is fear. It's again that, so you have to say, well, what's the whole point? Well, I don't know yet. Hold on. And what are they gonna do? You know, it's always like first, why the fuck is that? And then they said, well, what are they gonna do? They're gonna come back. And Spirit says, if the person's so crazy, why do you want them to come back? If I just do, even if I don't want them. It's like they owe that to me. It's like, because like, damn, you were supposed to like figure it out. You know, there's that love. It's like you just can't turn it on and off. I'm tired of being away from you physically. I'm trying to process my fears so I can come back to you. So it's like you do have a hold on them. Like I said, it's like eventually a person has to surrender their ego. And a person normally doesn't do that very easily. It actually is done through like a dark night of the soul. It's done through like an ego death, which is never a good thing that's manifesting on the outside to make that shit happen. It's like the end of time. Like, because remember, the person built up ego. But this is a connection that they're like, I have a hold. There's a desire. They might have not expressed that desire, but again, which they wouldn't, because they're not emotionally intelligent. A person that's spiritually off like this, they're not there. I'm not going to show you my hand. It's a survival thing. So you have to really realize that it's like there's still a desire, there's still a pull, there's still a want, there's still a curiosity. Why, you might say, why would the person come back after all this time? Believe me, they were trying to figure out that reason why too. That's why they took all this time. They were trying to figure out why you are not that person, talking themselves into seeing what they look for, being able to be emotionally manipulated through people. What we're seeing here is a weak person, but what we also see here is that love always is healing. Even if you say, well, I don't want to be with them now, fuck them, you know. And Spirit says, well, if they're a real twin flame, you probably wouldn't say that. But nevertheless, Spirit says, I don't care, because you have free will. And it was more about this person rising, evolving, doing what they needed to do to heal. And then you're like, so then that's why they came into my life. So I had to fucking help them heal. And then Spirit says, well, there was healing for you too in that. It just wasn't that twin flamey feel. It was more of the, like, I'm feeling like I got a hamburger from McDonald's without the fucking burger in it. Like there's like there was no like a substance to the connection. It just came into my life, and then you act like it, like nothing. And it's like, I thought that you were someone else, and that's the end of the story. Like, what is the, And the spirit says, no, there's actually a deeper thing. I need to move slowly with this, but trust that I am moving, even when it seems that I'm not. So it's again that there's a lot of processing. It's again where if this person really is your twin flame, you're probably being taught patience. It's all about integrating the higher levels of consciousness, and patience is one of them. And so and here you are, you're like, what am I on the fucking slowest the fucking guy? What the hell? What, did you get on the wrong train? That took the wrong plane, right? That's what, of course, mine would do that. Of course, it's gonna be fucking late now. Where spirit says, well, what are you doing that you're so busy looking over there? Never mind what I'm doing. Where the hell are they? And spirit says, yeah, two sets of rules. It's like if you're in a real connection like that, it means that you should be grounding and working and becoming yourself. That it's again that person really is mirroring what you're going through, just because of a different situation, a different experience. In times of separation, there's a lot of healing. Spirit is doing it. The time away, the desire, the real thinking of, no, that love isn't possible. No, I don't think I want this. I can replace you. I can replace you. I'm going to date all these other people. I can't find, there's no one like this person. There's no one like this person. It's like a death of a person that you love. It's like when the person moves away, and this person was not in that energy. They thought that they were invincible. You moved away. So there's a sense of, wait, I need to do something. If I don't do something, then you're not going to do something. That's what this person is coming into the realization about right now. Again, it's very slow, very slow. And it's again because they were in their ego. They thought who they were. They thought for sure you were going to come back. For sure you were going to be the one, because I know how you are. You're so nice. And it's like that's what makes us us. And you're like, no, that's not what makes us us. It's like, I don't want to play that game, that whatever that is. It's that we're like, again, a team, a partnership. But this person, I don't think, was raised in that environment. I've never felt love like this before. The depth of it can be inspiring, but also overwhelming. Of course, because it's got to stir up those wounds. We don't offer to go and look at our pain. We don't offer to say, oh, let me go back to that childhood wound that I felt like shit, where, then I lived a life of perceiving that I was this person, or that I should have did this, or I should have did that, or it should have been this, or it should have been. We don't, because then we blame ourselves. And we get angry, and the story that we've held on to, So thank you, Shine So Bright. Thank you. So, it's to understand, like, we wouldn't sit here and looking at it, with like, why would we? I mean, even this person being away from you is like affected you. You're like, what the hell is that? What the hell? If it's a twin flame connection, it means the relationship is deep. It's on an ESP level. It's on a spiritual level, because both parties were not allowed to, really speak their truth in childhood. They were not allowed to, they didn't have a chance with what, like, they grew up in, what they saw, whether that was being brought up in an alcoholic family, whether that was being brought up with adultery, whether that was being brought up of, they were taught, they were conditioned in an environment to believe that that's the way that it was with life. That's love. This is how you play the game of love. It's like, where here it is, you come along, your energy is not that. It's more of a safe love. So you can see that it's a terrifying thing, because it makes the person go deep within inside of themselves. So, and one that, believe me, they ran from. So you're like, what's taking so long? Well, let's not talk about the little, like, sidetrack that they did, the little fucking detour for like 6 months or 8 months or a year and a half, or however fucking long it is. It's like, and it's because I don't want to do this. It's like I like to be free. I like to be and understand their relationships were never free if they were always built on the way that they were conducting it. You know, they were unconsciously creating that. So now it's like this situation is like making them like look at their internal structure. And that's scary. This journey is teaching us one thing, the most important spiritual lesson: patience. That's what I said. So I said, you're probably like, what the fuck is taking them so long? Like, I was here at a quarter to three, and they were supposed to be here at the right time. It's like a year later, what's taking so long? And Spirit says, what are you supposed to be doing during this time? Waiting for them, of course. And Spirit says, no, you're not supposed to be waiting for them. You're not supposed to be waiting for them, but I want to wait for them because, my heart and Spirit says, mind your business, get back into and create yourself. You're supposed to be working on yourself. This person's supposed to be helping you make yourself into the best version of yourself. Why? Because they're fucked up. What they're doing, well, they're triggering you. But what are they triggering? It's like there's a reason why it's all happening. It's not a logical thing that you'd be like, yeah, I should sign me up for this type of relationship. Yeah. I want to drive myself crazy. That's what I want to do. No, no one says that. What it is like I can't control it. And it's like, but it teaches you to master certain things within yourself. And a lot of times it's those same things that we had difficulty in childhood with, whatever the theme was, whatever the personality was, whatever the struggle was that we reenact unconsciously. Sometimes I feel like you're speaking to me in my head. At times it's triggering. And because I wonder how much you can see into me. And that's why I said the twin flame knows. They know. So it's not like, well, do they know? It's like, yes, they know. It's like they're trying to pretend that they don't see it. You know, it's like, when the dog shits on the carpet and you're like, oh, I just don't feel like maybe my husband will get it. Maybe my mother will get it. Maybe my father will get it. I don't feel like doing it, like picking it up. It's like, that's this person. Like, yeah, it's there, but I don't know what to do with it. I don't know what to do with it because it makes me feel vulnerable. And when a person has been hurt and been brought up where they haven't been taught that, it's like vulnerable. What kind of shit is this? It's like, why don't you just sign up to put yourself in the line of danger? It's like, and here you come along and you like don't have a care in the world about it. You know what I mean? It's like because you didn't look for it. You're not looking for it. You're just coming from like, I just have feelings for you. It's like this person is like had to get past that no one looks at anyone like that. It's not the way that the world works. When I let myself go deeper into thoughts of you, I can feel my heart opening. So what we see is, again, that there's a lot happening, even though there's separation. It's just internally things are happening, and it's a process. And it's a process that you said we may not like. Obviously, we don't like. I'm triggered and old patterns have surfaced and it hurts. So again, the healing process is not an easy one. Like, so when you say, well, why is it taking so long? Well, the reason why it's taking so long is because, again, the person has avoidance style. So they don't look at it. They, again, avoided it for a while. Now they're looking at it. But again, it hurts. So no one volunteers to say, like, hey, let me go back to that childhood wound where I was victimized, where I was betrayed, whatever happened. But there was betrayal in the home. And so that person played a role in the dynamic of it. A lot of times when a person gets out of the relationship, they're still playing that particular role. And so, and this person like sees that they're in a place of victimization right now. they're actually seeing I'm the person that always gets screwed. I'm the person that ended. Yeah, because if you're always coming from a lower vibration, that's what's going to happen. You're not coming from a place of unconditional love of truth because you don't believe that you're deserving of it, which is why you give too much power to the people around you that have kept you stuck in a place of limitation. And that's what's happened with this person. But in order for them to heal, they have to go through that trigger. They have to do the shadow work. So the universe makes it happen, whether we go through it saying, okay, I'm going to do shadow work. It's going to be an easy road because I'm going to do it through shadow coaching, but this is not that. This is like a dark night of the soul and ego death. Like I said, where of course you're getting triggered, you're angry. It's the same karmic theme that's played out throughout this person's life that has cut them off from love. Of again, where they're the ones that are doing it and having to look and say, why do I do it? What's the reason? So, and that's profound. So for you, you're like, well, big deal. What's for me? I love this person. They should be showing me some sort of love. And Spirit says, that needs to be looked at. It's like, and that right there needs to be looked at. And you're like, why? Because I want them to come back. And Spirits will say, but the focus is on, again, needing it to come back. The attachment. Unconditional love is we surrender. So the non-surrendering that is triggering you, I feel like needs to be looked at because it's a survival mechanism. I'm conflicted about whether I have what it takes to be your partner. So again, this lack of self-esteem. So this, again, relationship is making them look at themselves and the way that they are. You know damn well you're not good enough for me. Absolutely. That's when you hold to a standard, which is why I didn't want to sit here and work this out. I wanted to do the easy way out. I didn't want to have to do all this work. This is this person, this work, this, contributing to my own health and spiritual wellness to make sure that I have healthy relationships. I didn't want to do that work. The little investment, again, because they're tired. They get tired because it doesn't really work out ever. Yeah, because you're coming from your ego. You're not coming from unconditional love. How would the universe make a person change and shift from a place of survival to unconditional love? But to bring a person that they have such a strong connection to. So you would say, why are we in separation? Spirit says, because of that. And because you'd be like, well, why are we in separation? Because, you told me that I need to. Obviously, I can see for myself that I need to. But why am I getting that? So it goes back to, again, that they're triggering you because they're not here. But it's a lack of love that you're giving yourself that is making you not feel fulfilled that this person is supposed to give to you by being. So that's what needs to be looked at, but we'll look and see what the childhood wounds are. But I'm just curious because as we see it, the person is thinking and thinking and thinking. And this is where we see self-sabotage. It's like they don't have any good, visions of a relationship because they didn't have anything to really see that to play out. And anything that they've created hasn't been a good relationship. So, the self-fulfilling prophecy is, well, I'm the one main thing. So it's me. But I'm not going to act like it's me because I'm going to put on the persona that I'm reckless and rebellious. And hopefully you'll think that I'm that instead of this weary, like energy sucking person, because it's, again, I don't feel good about myself. So I'm always vibrating in a place of fear. And so it's, again, what's making them look at themselves as why? Because that's not really who they are. It's an outdated thought. And I believe from the people that are surrounding this person, not because of them at this point. We incarnated together to clear specific patterns from our ancestral bloodline. So, and that's when they said this person grew up in a certain environment. that created the same type of scenarios within their relationships. So they've gotten to a place where they're the higher self. Again, now understand a twin flame, it has to be that the higher self of both parties say, yeah, I'm ready for this relationship. I want this type of relationship. I'm tired of eating the same old bologna and fucking cheese sandwich. Bring it on in. It's like I want the deluxe special. It's like I want the best of it all, or I don't want anything at all. Like it's either one or the other. And so Spirit says, okay, well, you know, this is the time, that passion that can transmute that ancestral, toxic energy of, being codependent and not coming from ourself and having to wear masks and have personas because we've grown away from ourselves. That's what you see why this person doesn't know who they are. They're the victim because they allow other people to tell them what their life is. And the first thing is, the Bible says, don't let the world tell you who you are. Because a lot of times, again, people will like to tell you who you are. And that's going to be a lot less than what you should know who you are. And so this person was wounded. They treated you less than, as a way to make themselves feel better. So I also believe that there's a lot of trauma around being raised in an environment where you were made to feel as if like there was some sort of like people were better, that so you had to like be a certain way, act a certain way, or put up with like unfair behavior. And because coming from a place of fear, again, clearing the bloodline helps actually activate the DNA that we know is the spiritual awakening, which again, this person would not actually have unless there's a death of the ego, which is why it's like turbulent for them, which is why it's taking a long time, because it's like it's not just a one and done. The person runs, the person reflects, but the love, the unconditional love that you represent, believe it or not, even if you're like, well, I didn't really even give this person that much time, but in their mind, because you didn't give them that much time, that was what it is. You didn't make them become somebody different, do something different, be something different. They didn't give you what you wanted, you walked away, per se, which that doesn't happen. So again, you didn't feed their ego. It was real. So again, I don't feel deserving, and it's affecting my levels of abundance to be open. So again, these are the triggers that this person is going through. We're not pulling like beautiful twin flame cards here. We are not. But understand, enduring separation, it's not. It's like, but you're like, because you'd be like, I don't feel that person now. I don't feel that person now. How come I always feel that person? Because they're like going through an ego death right now. Their life is like a shit storm, because anything that wasn't built on truth, which would be most of this person's life, right? If they're coming from a victim state and allowing other people to create their life, eventually, again, you get disposed of. Eventually, the pain hurts too much. The incentive to get out of that is you. The passion, the connection, the desire is you. It's again, they wouldn't do it otherwise. They can't control themselves. It's like we have supernatural powers. We don't care about anything when we're in love. It's like that's why people are like, what the fuck is that person stupid? It's like, no, they're in love. And when a person is in love, it makes them stop. It makes them change. It makes them ask themselves questions and say, well, why is my life like this? Well, it's all about me. It's me. Everything brought this person back to it's me. It's me. It's me. But that's the universe talking to them through you. That's what twin flame helps to too. And it's spicy because yeah, that's right. This is what I'm representing. And it's like because I'm truth, and I'm truth because I'm love. So this person again knows in order to be with you, they have to be out of that situation. But They don't volunteer. It's like easier to stay comfortable. We put laziness. That's a problem. 'Cause again, I'm walking home to you. I'm not sure where I am on the path, but I'm walking it. Again, slow process. But this person is saying, I'm uncomfortable. I am so uncomfortable. And so Spirit says, yeah, I had to bring this person, I had to bring you into their life during this time because their ego would have been way too big before. And it's playing out the way that it's supposed to play out. So it's almost like, well, what's the point for me then, aside from patience? And so that's when we look at your inner child wounds to see. It's not the right deck. To see, right? Because it's like, listen, you're in separation right now. It's not that there's not unconditional love. It is, but it's difficult. So why is it always difficult? Why do I always get the difficult one? And that's maybe like, again, the one of the questions that we need to ask. Why isn't love just easy? Why isn't it flowing? It's always how we're treating ourselves. And that's the thing. This person represents that. Again, it represents the way that we were taught to love ourselves or to accept ourselves or where to put the energy instead of just figuring it out. Nurturing yourself. Again, it's hard to be alone when you're a Virgo. Virgo is service. We're givers. It's again, I want to nurture you, where Spirit says nurture yourself. You always get people that ignore exactly what you need. They don't give you anything emotionally because you're too busy giving to everybody else. So don't you know it's the person that gives everything, which is what they want, they need, they desire. And that's when they tell everybody in their environment what they desire. And that gives that people weapon. It gives a person a weapon to emotionally manipulate. Love doesn't mean it's all fair in love and war. So again, the strive is to become unconditional love. That's what we strive for. But when we love somebody, let's face it, it's like, I hope you fail. I hope you fail. like I don't want you to leave me. I don't want you to find somebody better. Again, this is a low vibration love, but nevertheless, it teaches about what that person really feels about themselves. We look at that, how dare you want me to fail? Who the fuck are you? I'll fucking show you I'll fail. And then it's like Spirit says, yeah, and watch how fast you moved your ass and won. See what that person did. They were the catalyst to make you move. I'll show you, It's like your Spirit says, no, it's about showing a person how you want to be treated by learning to nurture yourself. A lot of times if we grew up in an environment that again was in balance, which if you attracted this person, that's what's happening, then you got your love from giving to other people, from being the wounded healer. I'm saying, oh, well, I just feel responsible. I don't really feel like doing it, but I feel responsible. And that's not really where Spirit's saying, it's like give to yourself so you won't be emotionally feel responsible for anybody except for yourself. You have to be strong within yourself. There's a little bit of weakness there, Spirit says. And I'm inside of you as a gift of the Holy Spirit. I love you more than anything. You are the energy of the universe, the stars and the sun. You can have whatever it is that you want. But look where there's flaws. Look to where we need to heal ourselves. And believe it or not, it's nurture. What do you want? Instead of being with people that tell you what. Oh, I don't care. Whatever you want to do. What do you want? I don't care. Whatever you want. Where Spirit says no, because you're teaching the person that they don't have to think about you. It's not about being nice, because then all of a sudden you don't seem nice. Because what happened to, whatever you want. No, listen, where are you taking me to fucking Arby's again? The fuck is wrong with you? I wanted to go to Taj Mahal. It's like coming from a real sense of who you are, being able to express yourself every day comes in the nurturing of yourself, knowing what is acceptable, what isn't, what you can actually have, and what is like you shouldn't have. There's perception instead of just getting together with a person where I feel like you've always been with someone that's kind of taken the role of, I'm going to tell you what to do. It's like, and you just were like, okay, like, okay, you were easygoing. So I didn't have to put much effort into you. Where God's saying that I don't like that. That's like shit. You're like, that's not good. No, you don't have to be greedy, but you have to be real. You have to be real and have and that only happens from giving yourself, finding yourself, having a love affair with yourself, getting strong within yourself, and working on things that aren't working. And that's what Spirit's saying. You want to know why you're in separation? The person's taking too long to come back. Look at yourself. Look at the things that you need to do. I don't want to. And Spirit says you have to. It's again protection, never feeling safe, getting together with people that had a little bit of a narcissistic edge to them, and that's I'm going to control you because I can't trust. So it's like I just can't trust. Don't trust me, so I can't really trust you, though I love you. And this is the way that I do love you. And you're like, I know that you love me, but why does it look like that? And the Spirit says, because again, the lack of feeling safety, supported would be like protection too. The growing up where you didn't really feel supported, you didn't feel safe, you didn't feel, so it's playing out again as this karmic theme of attracting people that they don't show up, they can't show up emotionally. We're not talking financially, even though you probably grew up when there were financial things, because children identify with their safety and security as love. So again, that trauma plays out where and then Spirit says, oh, so you think that you need something outside of you to do that? And the Spirit says, this is where we go about finding ourselves. Well, I don't even know where to begin. And that's what people say. Well, I don't like my job, but I don't know where to begin to pay the bills. And Spirit says that's why the lack of nurturing in yourself is you're looking for this person to nurture you. So it's taking them a long time, but things are happening. And I'm also making things happen in your life, even though you're like, I'm not comfortable. And Spirit says that's the whole point. You're not supposed to be. Healing doesn't feel good. No one volunteers to do what they don't want to do. It's like, but we get tricked into it. You get the soulmate, you get the twin flame, you get the desire, you get the passion, you get the, like, this person's an asshole, but I love them anyway, and I'm crazy. So, it's like, it's exciting. It's like, it gives you energy. So where Spirit says, yeah, but we have to ground and understand why things are happening and not take it personally, and understand that there's a reason why. Look, we're not pulling anything bad here except for like crafts and creativity. So we're talking about nurturing in your hobbies, in your interests. It takes a mustard seed. God makes that multiply. The universe always brings us the people, the situations, and the experiences that are going to help us grow our heart and our mind, that we're not in charge of that. There's a sense of the protection of needing to know, not feeling safe in oneself. And Spirit says, so you and I don't have a good connection. And you're saying, well, I know that there's a Spirit. And Spirit says you don't trust it, where you listening to it, where if you feel like you need to have that protection from outside, it's almost like, it's like going into a food store or like ordering food and being like, do you want like a scoop of ice cream, or do you want like the 10 scoop ice cream, and you're starving? And you're like, I'll take the 10 scoop ice cream. And you can put some sprinkles on that. And you can put all these, like, it's like where really you don't need all that. It seems like you need all that because of the lack, because you're on an empty fuel. Well, that's the same thing with being with a person that is like going to be like protective and come into your life and be that person that says, I'm going to take care of you. Well, they take care of you with dominance because it's a narcissistic energy. Why are they so willing to play that part? It's because you fulfill a need. You fulfill a need. So you can never change that role. You can never be different. And that means that there's a lack of flexibility. There's a lack in that second chakra, which is they don't go with the flow in a relationship. You're like, it's always their fucking way. It's like, and it really creates fucking problems because they're stubborn, even if they're wrong. And there's a sense of, again, that ego. And that's because I'm holding on. Where meanwhile, this person thinks that what they're doing is protecting themselves, guidance, that there wasn't support, that there wasn't like anyone to tell you that you're watching difficulty in life. And if you're like watching it, you're not going to say, hey, well, guess what? I have some difficulty going on at school today. No, you're not going to say anything. You're going to say, I'm not going to add to the problems that are going on in the home. It's like, I'm just going to be good. My job is to be good. And so the child becomes either over good, which is what I feel like you did. And this person, like, it was like, fuck it. Like, I don't care. They're so opposite. And that's because, again, where the identity is like the thought, where you learn to become more like subservient, where sensitive, emotional, you're sensitive, you're spiritual, you get people, it's deep. Where again, this person loves you for that. However, that is not their energy. Their energy is more, again, ego, wanting to be in control. It doesn't mean that they don't love. That is the way that they love. But understand, you desire it because you didn't have it. So there's like a need. And when you're believe that there's a need, you always overcompensate unconsciously, where you'll be like, well, what the person gave me little, they undercompensated. It's still a second chakra issue. It's again, their feelings of lack, feel whatever they give is a lot. And that's because they have a closed heart chakra. Again, the twin flame connection and separation is helping open up that heart. It's like not when the ego has to die first. It's like there's a wall around that heart, which is like, I don't trust anybody because there's the experiences that I lived. And because of that, it's what I see, is what I know, is what I believe. It's just the facts. It's logical. It's analytical. It's survival. It's like, and here you fucking come along. And I have feelings. What am I supposed to do with this? It's like, it makes me feel all feeling. And it's like, this person's been detached for a long time. It takes a long time. It's like the Tin Man, from the Wizard of Oz. It's like, it's like, because this person learned to live like as Slick Rick, even if they were a girl. It's like, it's because this is the way you don't get hurt. You have to be this way. It's like, where that's not the truth, where you didn't have that, but you also were too trusting. So we see again that empath narcissist type of connection. A lot of times with the twin flame, right? We see the hot, the passion, the grounded, the fire, the good with the masculine energies. And we see the feminine energies that are, again, the intuitive, the spiritual, the creative, the more compassionate, the more internal structures, where both parties were like spirit saying, remember, you're supposed to be working on yourself to find yourself. Mary Jane, or whoever you are, Bob, it's like about finding yourself. It's like stay in your lane. It's like, it's hard to stay in my lane because I don't trust that the person's ever going to show up in my lane. And Spirit says that's the abandonment issue. The whole point of the soulmate twin flame relationship is that it's on, it's off, it's on, it's off, it's on, it's off. And what you're learning is love is unconditional. I don't like the way that it looks. I don't like what it's showing me. I don't like, but it's again, it's still loving. Again, outdoors and nature is more grounded. That Spirit says the trauma that you went through was that you didn't nurture yourself. So you didn't find yourself because there was no guidance, there was no encouragement, and that you didn't feel safe. And you didn't feel safe because of what was going on in your environment. And again, that could be just didn't feel comfortable to ask. I didn't want to be like a burden. It doesn't mean that it's the parent's problem. It's the issue of how we chose to live and the survival mechanisms that we created in order to live, that we keep on replaying the same karmic experiences. That's what the problem is. That's what we want to change. And discipline. So again, everything's grounded. Everything was like, Spirit was like, did you create yourself? Again, is this person your only form of passion? Because shame on you. The universe says punishment. Punishment. And you say, why would there be punishment? Because I want a person to love me. And Spirit says, me first. I'm a jealous God. And that's through you first. That the universe is God. The universe is unconditional love. The universe says me first. Like, what are you contributing to your mankind? Are you happy in your everyday life? Is like, do you fill your own cup? Oh, you don't know how to fill your own cup. Oh, and that you grew up with like only a quarter of a cup. You didn't even get a whole cup. So, that's good. It's been like the whole time I haven't gotten any full cup. So I can't pull in a life-size cup. I pull in like a pee cup, like it's a quarter of a cup. And Spirit says, we're depleted. We're depleted. So you didn't have discipline to create yourself, to create your own protection, because the protection comes from being connected to me, the higher self, the God part of self, the spirit part of self that makes you supernatural, because there's a God part of self, that's the deity part of self, and there's a dust part of self. So you're operating more from the dust part of self, which is limited. It confines to the ways of the physical world. Yeah, they're going to tell you that you don't got enough, just so that you know. They're going to tell you you're not good enough either. That you should actually maybe dye your hair, maybe lose like 10 pounds, maybe wear this outfit. You know what? If you had that car, you know what? If you lived in that house, and Spirit says they're going to tell you that your life would be better, that there would be a need and a desire. But the answers are inside of you. You're depleted. We're depleted. Red alert, red alert. We're depleted. So, you're going to pull in every narcissist that sees your capability, but you don't see your own capability. Spirit says, I'm the universe. I'm the person that gives you guidance. I work through you. I'm chi, I'm prana. That's what I am. I'm the life force that works through you when you're clear. So you have to, again, be grounded. Only in the now do you get divine guidance. What are you trying to figure things out before they actually happen? And the Spirit says, this is ridiculous. You're putting the cart before the horse. It's no, only in the now do I give you divine guidance. But are you like childlike? Are you nurturing yourself? Are you giving yourself that love? Are you giving yourself that kindness? I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do for fun at this stage of the game. The Spirit says, there's crafts, there's hobbies, there's things, again, that would interest you. Passion for life. Where's your passion for life? This person's supposed to activate the passion, the fire, the twin flame, fire. And what you see is, well, I don't like the way that this person's fire looks. Kind of looking a little fucking cold to me. And Spirit says, look at your fire. Where's the fire? There's no fire because there's no balance. So this person is reflecting your process. This is the rate that you're both going. It's a very slow race. Spirit says, yeah, I have to come back to this room often because it's like watching two snails try to figure it out because of what they've gone through in life, how the trauma affected them in their life. With you, it affected the physical realm. Money, finances, connection to the physical body, connection to feeling safe, connection to feeling supported, love, discipline, not giving yourself, but giving it to other people. And that was what had happened. But again, you were like, not today, Alice. So you avoided that with this person because this person would have, of course, tried to go from a lower consciousness. The job of the twin flame relationship is to raise consciousness, and that's usually is the person that is usually has more feminine energy. So again, with you need again to integrate more masculine energy, the outdoors, right? Outdoors, nature, that's grounded, the earth, the universe, feeling connected to the universe, which is really the father element. And the father element is, again, connection to the father. I didn't feel really supported. My dad didn't really make me feel emotionally supported, or it didn't make me feel as where I felt like I needed to be a certain way in order to please them. Sometimes the parent didn't do anything. It's just a need or a desire that we felt. So it's not all the sense trauma, but it's the way that we learned how to survive. So again, the guidance, I felt like I needed to be someone else. But God says, I am your father. I am the universe. I work through you. I work through the environment. You're not in charge of how we get there. You're only in charge of putting the energy out there the best way you know how, and you're not doing it. So that's the issue. You're not disciplined. You're not disciplined because the trauma made it difficult for you to focus. It made you feel like you had ADHD, or again, was in a place of like needing to survive. That's the way that, when children go through experiences that where they feel not safe, it's like they're paying more attention to what the parent needs, what's happening in the environment, whether or not they're safe, whether they have to leave because there might be an emotional outburst or whatever it is. And it doesn't matter that you may not think that it should have been a traumatizing experience for that person. It's the child self that went into that experience, that had that experience, that then it played out as different karmic themes within this person's life. So it's like, again, in that, you're not creating self. So again, the protection is that we create ourselves, and this through our own passions, our hobbies. That's where we find our individuality. Am I missing one? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No, that's 6. So that's really what Spirit's saying. It's like, who were you? You would have been gone right back into another codependent relationship where the person has such a dominant personality that you're like, okay, like, it's like, I feel like I have to become self-serving. Then that makes you angry because then you feel like you're not heard or that you don't matter. So it's actually, you're keeping yourself stuck in a lower vibration. And that's what really Spirit's saying that, yeah, this person is doing the work to rise so that you don't have to do that, but it takes time. But Spirit's saying, and it also requires you to do the work. That's what the separation is. It's like, otherwise there would be no point. You'd be like, what are they doing over there? Now you can say, no, that's bullshit. They ran with Marianne. They ran with Bob. And Spirit says, yeah, they did take a detour. Usually that does happen too. It's like it because I don't want to have to do the work. Who the fuck are you to make me do this? Why are you making it difficult? And Spirit says, you feel all that fire? Ooh, yeah, that fire is supposed to be channeled into purpose. It's like, but that person is blocked. They're in a karmic loop. So now that's what it looks like. It has nothing to do with you. It's just the spiritual. It's almost like a car that's backfiring. Yeah, that's like a side effect of the person like not doing the work, avoiding the work. It's like, and not getting their way and not being able to manipulate their way or be sneaky. Remember, this person thinks that they're smart, they're sly. Where it's like, where it would make you feel like I need to protect myself. Where Spirit says, you don't need to protect yourself. You need to create yourself. That's how you protect yourself. You get very strong. So you say, I don't need your shit because I'm already the whole package. And like, I don't need you for my fun either, my emotional support either. coming into my life. It's you need to contribute to my life. Harmony within. Again, Spirit saying it was all about you healing what's inside, that there still needed to be work inside. That's why this person isn't here right now. It's not because there isn't love, because you're like, well, then where are they? The Spirit says it's like they have to heal themselves to know love. To heal themselves is how they're learning how to love. They're learning how to love themselves. Because all the time what happens is they wind up in a codependent relationship where things happen all great because it's all spicy, and that's when you love it in the beginning, but then it turns to shit. And it's like they're the main equation of the relationship, always turns to shit. So they don't really believe that there could be love. And it's so they grew up in a toxic love, so they think that that's what love is. You aren't like that. It's like this situation was real. Diplomacy is how you handle things. It's like diplomacy. What am I supposed to fucking do with that? You're supposed to yell at me. You're supposed to scream at me. You're supposed to chase me. You're supposed to tell me I'm desirable. You're supposed to tell me anything. But don't tell me anything. You're diplomatic. What can I can't, my intuition. I have to look at really what's here. I don't want to look at what's here. Who are you to make me look at what's here? Person feels like they're bipolar because they're like, I don't want to do it. So the Spirit says, since you decided to check in today, just so you know, that's what it looks like right now. And that's why you'd be like, well, I tap in, I don't feel so good. And Spirit says, well, that's why. It's like, because they're it's not in they don't say, yeah, let me surrender this ego that I have, that I created. No, they don't want to do that. It's scary. It's like, who am I? Then it's I have to surrender. I have to become somebody that I'm not. And that's really, Spirit says, yes. It's like you have to surrender to love. And like that's the thing, when we have grown up in a survival point because we felt we weren't safe at one point. And it doesn't always have to be a parent. It could be a sibling. It could be a neighbor. It'd be just somebody that came into your childhood that made you not feel safe. It's enough to traumatize the child. So what really Spirit is saying is that set the stage. Did that mean like during high school you didn't have an opportunity? Spirit said all through fucking life you had a time that you could have created yourself, but you didn't. You gave too much of your time and energy away to other people, not knowing your worth. So that's why this person kind of made you feel like you weren't worth it, but it's the way that they felt about themselves. That's the mirroring. But there is passion. There is love. There is like that. All those higher energies. So really Spirit saying, it's again, we leave off with the open to the universe. I'm discovering my worth. Like, listen, do I make this shit up? No. See, I am discovering my worth and my abilities. And the Spirit says, that's what you're supposed to be doing right now. I have confidence in my own value and potential. I reclaim my inner power. I accept and love myself completely. Thus, I am open to the divine light of the universe. Meaning, like, you had to, like, love yourself. The Spirit says, you were brought up in an environment that you were taught like not to love yourself. And that's, again, a lot of times is done unconsciously. And so adapting to those ways where it's like, well, I get my love from giving, from overdoing, from caring too much about what's going on in other people's lives and feeling I need to kind of fix myself or insert myself as soon as I meet that person, means that you didn't have enough going on in your own life on an emotional level. And so you didn't get the nurturing. So you learned to get nurturing by giving. But as you got older, it was taken advantage of. You would then attract like narcissist people that see your worth. You don't see your worth. And Spirit says, I thought we were breaking this cycle where we're like not attracting those type of people into our life. And you're like, yeah, I am. I took that badminton class last week, you see? But Spirit says, it's like, no, what else are you doing? It's about having a love affair in your life. It's like, and you don't know what that is. yet. There's not enough. So Spirit's like, you need to have your cup full, because this person, believe me, is going to want to drink from your cup, Annie. It's again the way that it's going to be, Bob. It's like, because that twin flame, it's like, I want that love, I want that passion. So Spirit says, so you have to be strong in yourself, because setting boundaries, this person has different energy than you, masculine energy. So well, they're going to be a little bit dominant. So again, learning boundaries. Why am I getting that? Spirit says, oh, it makes you feel uncomfortable, doesn't it? Yes. And Spirit says, well, big, that's why you're getting it, because you didn't learn in your childhood how to deal with that type of personality. You had that personality. You're not able to forgive because of that personality. That personality makes you feel weak. That personality makes you feel less than. So I'm going to bring it again and again and again and again. And eventually it's not going to bother you. It's like, it's so that you can see that you change, that you evolve. And that's really what Spirit's saying. It's like, in the separation, it's healing. It's a lot of healing time. There's a lot going on, and we saw that is a very similar story yesterday as we see it today. So it doesn't surprise me, because Spirit says, well, it's an unfoldment process. That's what it is. It's an unfoldment process. It's not going to be an overnight thing. And if we're staring at it, oh my God, it feels like you're watching spaghetti boil, which you're like, oh, this pot has been on the stove for about 10 years now. Fucking thing isn't working. That's what it feels like, when really Spirit's saying, what else is going on in your life? Where's the passion? What's going on in your life? And is that not enough? And then you're going to be coming from a place of lack and limitation, and then attract lack and limitation within your finances, within like your structure. And that's what Spirit's saying. Then, like, to take a job that you're like okay with, but meanwhile you can actually live your passion by investing in that, or just even balancing out your life. If you're like, well, my job is okay, but I just feel like I don't get emotionally enough. Spirit says that's enough to not be safe, to not have discernment, because you're not coming from a balanced point of view. So you're like, how didn't I see it? And it's like, because Spirit says it's like looking in the mirror, where like when you're driving, that the object is like actually a lot closer than it is, and then you're overcompensating, but then it's taking you away from you. And then what happens is you don't like what you manifest, and it's keeping you in a place of saying, well, then relationships are difficult, because it's always like that. And Spirit says, not if you're strong within yourself. And that's what you're doing now. So I'm going to leave that there. If anyone has any questions, feel free to ask me. I open the floor right now for a few minutes before I go off the wall. No, like it's like I'm trying to stay consistent. Let me tell you, I'm going through my own grieving process. And if it's like not nailed down, I want to eat it. It's like the craziest thing. It's like, even if I'm not hungry, it's definitely see that we all, have the way that we deal with trauma, the way that we deal with our emotions. It's, that it's the way that we choose to channel those emotions. And the way when we're grounded, it definitely helps us. So I thank you guys for being here. Hey, Elmira and Sandra and Whitney. It's been such a John Diamond, Doris, Bethany. Thank you for sharing your energy with me. I appreciate you guys. I appreciate you guys always being here and being support, like while I go through this transformational journey myself, of grief. It's not an easy one, but it's crazy, because it's made me look at a lot of my own inner childhood wounds, the passing of my husband. So, I lost my husband a few months ago, and it's like it's made me reflect back on my parents. Welcome, Virginia. Welcome to the room. It's this is all about shadow healing. So if anyone has any questions about shadow healing, please feel free to ask me while the floor is open. Otherwise, I just wanted to say, I wanted to thank you guys for being here, letting me channel my energy into the the channel and getting the support from you guys, because it's a turbulent experience. It's like when someone dies, like you don't it's almost like that it happened, but on a physical, emotional, psychological level, as time goes by, it really seems to sink in. And you get a lot of different emotions and feelings, and this energy is emotional energy. That's the best type of energy to channel. So I'm glad that I have somebody to have you guys to channel the energy into. Thank you, Virginia. I appreciate you. Otherwise, if no one has any questions, I'm going to sign off and I will be on again later on. Bye bye. Got to find where the end is.